Hey there. Today I'm going to try to create a pattern based off a photo that I lifted from one of the social medias. I don't even know where now. So I'll show you how that goes. So let's roll that intro. Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL, and today I'm going to be working with a pattern from a photo. Now this was some kind of a screenshot I did, and to be honest, I have tried to look it up. I tried to figure out where it came from, and I have no idea. It was just something I saw and I thought, wow, it's really cool how it's centered. Makes for an interesting thing. But yeah, I have no idea where it came from. So we're going to try to recreate this. And I have two different graph papers together. This is the single strand, and this is for the doubled up. So they're different sizes. I had to first figure out how many strings are involved. That's one of the key things. And because this picture is really blurry, it was incredibly hard to do it the normal way. Normally I would start in the middle and count my way outwards. But what I ended up doing is there is 4 whites and 4 colors. So that's how I figured out that it was 8. So take the count from wherever you can get it. So I need to copy this over onto these. And one of the first things I notice is it's on a slant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a guideline over here like this. And then I'm going to use the rotate tool. And I'm just going to tilt this until it looks like it's straight, which is, I guess that's pretty good. So it's like 2 degrees off or something. It wasn't much. And then I'm going to use the select tool. Whoops, I have it unfixed. And kind of come in sort of close to that. Alright, let's go with the thick one first, just to see. That's interesting. It's I was afraid it was going to be really huge. It is not. So let's make this bigger, so we can kind of see what we're doing. And let's copy this while we have it and paste it over here as well. So yeah, on the single stranded one, I have a feeling we're gonna have like more spaces than what they had. So let's anchor that and anchor this one. Let's actually slide that up a bit so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, now we can anchor it. Alright, let's actually use their colors, except for the blue. I'm gonna have to use something else because that's really close to the background color that we already use. So I'm just gonna grab something like this, and it makes a diamond right here in the center. Right, that's the first thing that we can tell. We know this is center. We have our cross lines to where our center is, and then it comes out, and as best as I can tell, I think it just goes this way for a number of knots. So right, and then this will, oh no, it's not, we're actually gonna have to draw this out because it's not, well, no, we can flip it. That's fine. That's not a big deal. Alright, back to this. I'm gonna use a gray for wherever there's whites. Again, just because if we want to paint this in to try this with some other colors, if we do white, it'll paint all that. And that's not what we want. Alright, so that's what's in the center there. Then there is some kind of a yellowy gold that comes up this way. And is over on this side as well. The next color is this red. You can see I'm just like taking the color right from it. If you're using GIMP like I am, how I grab up the color is I use the control while still using the paint tool, and that lets me do that. Now it looks like the black does an extra thing here. So for black we'll use like a really dark gray. Again, the whole reason is if we do the select everything, it will cause all our black lines out here to change. So let's put this red in where it goes, and the black does this. So the black is there. It's coming in from both sides. And it does like that. And I'm not sure how big this diamond out here is. We'll just kind of bring the sides out. Sorry, I'm kind of sliding off to the side here. Bring the sides out and figure it out. So this red comes through here and up. This yellow comes up here and up. And this blue comes this way. So if you're trying to figure one of these things out and you're not sure how big the diamond is, the easy way is to just build a little bit and then figure out, whoops, hit the border, like this. So that's a little bit weird. Our black didn't even go all the way out to the whole outside. It stops early. Well, that's interesting. That is interesting. So that's essentially our pattern right there. Let's go in and fill in the strings so we can figure out if there's going to be anything really complicated with this, because this almost seems too easy. And of course we'll have to figure out how those strings get to where they go out further. So yeah, this is just some pattern. I'm gonna guess it was either Facebook or Instagram where I saw it and thought, wow, that's kind of cool. And I'm sure this kind of stuff happens to you guys as well. Like, it's just a thing. You see a pattern and you're like, oh, I'd like to recreate that. And then, I don't know. This thing has been sitting in a folder for so long, I honestly don't remember where it came from. And I think I have more of these. So if you're interested in me, you know, showing how to generate a pattern from a photo, leave me a comment, let me know. Maybe you even have a photo that you're interested in. Mind you, I don't do alphas. I've had a couple of requests here lately asking me to sort out an alpha pattern. I don't do alphas. I do regular ones. I don't do a lot of where you like drop some stitches and leave open strings and stuff. Not a huge fan of those. It just seems like something to get snagged, and not a fan of those ones. But yeah, shoot me a picture. You can always do that over on Discord. There's a actual space for doing that where you can send in requests. So yeah, most of this is looking pretty straightforward. I think the biggest hang up was in figuring out how many strings there were, because the picture itself was not very clear on that. So if you haven't figured out what I'm going to do for the other side, is I'm going to flip it vertically and I'm going to flip it horizontally, and that's how it's going to be switched around to make it right for the other side. But yeah, this is, like I said, this was just a real interesting middle part. Relatively easy bracelet. Looks like most of it is just doing chevrons until you get to this thing. And it seems easy enough to figure out when that happens, because everything else is just the whites. So we already picked a white. There was this light gray here. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, look at this. It's going to actually fit this pattern really, really well. Right? Because grabs up this blue again. This blue will come across like this and end up being this row right here. Mind you, I did not do any counting beforehand. This is, I love it when these come together like this. So mine doesn't go back into the white. You can see on the other one, there's a section of white at the top and the bottom. This actual spacing will make it so that way it just ends on the colors. Just put these in for a moment here. And then the light gray goes into the rest. So that's essentially it. I'm going to speed things up and fill in all the underlying stuff, and then I'll show you how I put the two pieces together. I'll be right back. Okay, so I filled in everything in the top half. Now show you how I do the bottom half. This is easy. We're just going to select it all. Control C, Control V. So we've copied and pasted it. Now we're going to go to the flip, and we are going to, I guess we'll go horizontal first and then flip vertical. Didn't matter which order. But yeah. And get these things to line up. And we anchor the layer. And there's our first version. So there's what happens if we double up the string, make it nice and thick, and whatever. So the next one is this, where it is thinner. So again, it's just going to start out same way. Whoops, need the paint tool. And then this comes out like that. Back in. How many does it come in? 4. I was right. Alright, so the next color is this golden yellow. Mind you, I'm not sure which color I would actually fill this thing in if I were making the bracelet. I think there's a lot of combinations. It'd be cool. This is sort of cool because it's sort of got like that sort of a Southwest vibe or something going to it. And the dark gray. And it's funny, it does that little thing right here. I think that kind of helps really add to it. Whoops. So I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because we've already basically established how the pattern is made. At this point, it's kind of obvious that it just does the same thing. So and I like how this kind of looks like it's just like maybe a ribbon that's twisted and then it just goes into the diamond. I don't know. There's something really cool about that. Grab this for the gray. 1, 2, 3, 4. Comes out 3, 4. The blue. Whoops. Every once in a while I get a little too fast with it, and you'll see I hit the outer part of the box. Usually it's followed by a whoops. So there's the blue. The next would be the yellow. The red. And the black. So then next is the 4 whites. This blue will come across like this. It's so easy when it's like just these chevrons, right? But I just want to show you how, in case you're a little bit new to this and you're not sure what's going on, that's how it gets across. I'm going to fill all this in, and then I will have the patterns available for you over on my website, AKAAWOL.com. So this is kind of cool. It makes so that way you go through all the colors. Whoops, hit the outer box again. And then you just have one extra stripe, so that's kind of neat. So yeah. So this one is somewhere in between. The size floss they're using is either a bit thicker than a single, because yeah, theirs cuts off like right where this blue is. So it's either a smaller bracelet or the thread is somewhere in between. But that's why I build these things here first, is because they are built to the size of the bracelets I know and I have based on the string that I use. And I encourage you to make one for the size string that you're using, so that way you can assure that your bracelets come out right. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for sticking around this long, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.